Welcome to The Sober Unicorn. We are a gay-hosted, all-inclusive podcast about sobriety and addiction recovery for the LGBT plus community and all of our allies. I am your host, Holden, and thank you for joining us today. All right, well, hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's doing absolutely incredible. If you're not, of course, don't hesitate to reach out to me here at The Sober Unicorn and any of the guests that have ever shared their social media platforms on here. So today, we actually have a coworker and a friend of mine. Funny enough, we met through a mutual friend, and then now we work together, so we're work colleagues. We see each other damn near, I would say, about 5 days a week. But everybody, welcome Nicole. Hello, Nicole.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm extra tired, Decided to do the gym at 5 a.m. because,
That's just disgusting.
it is. It is. It
But
is.
you got your nails done.
Wait, hold on. So I did that. I went and got waxed. Had to rush from there, get the nails done. Then went to a friend's house, cleaned out her litter boxes, bleached them, vacuumed the whole nine, and now we're here.
Okay, that's a little too much.
I know, I'm dying.
I woke up, went to FedEx I'm getting a thing made for the book signing.
Nice.
And it was on trash material. So I was like, this needs to be redone. Then just went grocery shopping and now this. So my day's been pretty docile. And anybody, if you like my shirt, it's from Bear Amusement on TeePublic or TeePublic something. I don't know. T Chartle. Something like that.
It.
Yeah, it's super cute. The boyfriend got it from. Anyways, besides the point. So of course, this is a recovery podcast. So of course, Nicole is also in recovery. So I want to give why don't you tell everybody a little backstory on a small portion of your addiction, what led you to get clean, and how recovery's been for you so far.
Okay.
We gonna go Cliff Notes version.
We're gonna do it really, really short. Okay. I didn't use, and now I'm clean. There you go. No. So, I always start off with, I come from a family of addicts. My dad was a heroin addict. My uncles were heroin addicts. My brother's dad my mom liked heroin addicts, I guess. I don't know. And my grandfather was a raging alcoholic. So growing up, I knew what detoxing was. I knew what the 12-step program was, but didn't really have a real understanding of it. And then I was a kid, smoked weed, drank on the weekends like most teenagers in high school do. And then it wasn't until later in life that I started dibbling and dabbling into the heavier stuff. I was actually 27 the first time I ever smoked crack.
Oh my goodness.
I was later. I'm a late bloomer.
That's okay. That's normal. I mean, I was a late bloomer with alcohol too. Of course, I had my alcoholism at a very young age, but then I hated drinkers and didn't start again until I was 25, I think. And I think I didn't start meth till I was 23.
Yeah. So it was later in life. But it progressed. And by the time I was 30, I was shooting dope in my neck. So it went from boop, 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 real quick. I wasn't homeless until I hit about 30. But I stayed homeless from 30 until 35 when I got clean. But between 27 and 30, it was a lot of ups and downs with children and ex-husbands and DC. It was a lot of other stuff prior to my using. It was a lot of domestic violence, a lot of chaos. My whole life has been chaos. From my mom and how we lived, and my mom is just full of chaos, and just I always saw chaos going on, whether it was with my mom and me, her and our relationship, or my aunt and her relationship with her husband and it was being volatile, or my grandfather and how he was volatile. You know what I mean? It's I always thought that was normal.
And the thing is, a lot of so we're going to kind of go into motherhood. So I know on the spectrum, you play both fields. So you are part of the LGBT community, but you do have kids. and
Hmm.
these kids were with you essentially, like growing up when you were in active addiction and now clean.
They
So
never saw me in active addiction.
really,
No. So I started using because they were removed from my care because of domestic violence. So the the key CPS worker came involved when my ex-husband jumped on me in front of the kids, and my oldest daughter that doesn't belong to him, she ended up telling the police what happened. So like because she witnessed it, DCF got involved. So then it was just a constant thing with them. And I stopped messing with my husband. It was like 2007. And he ended up putting me in jail for putting my hands on him and his new girlfriend he decided to bring to my house. Long story. So I ended up going to jail. He had custody of the kids. When I got out of jail, like I did all the things. Like I got an efficiency, rented a room, an efficiency, a 1 bedroom, and like that's when he wanted to act crazy again. Got out of jail. I got out, whatever. He brought the kids to the house. And like things were okay. But then I had rekindled with someone from like when I was a kid. And he was like, "Oh, come to Albuquerque, see how it is. Maybe you want to live here." And I was like, he was like my first love. So it was like anything he said, I was like, okay. And like I told my ex-husband, I was like, listen, next weekend I'm gonna catch a flight and I'm not gonna have the kids, so figure it out. That night he got upset, came to my house, jumped on me. My daughter ran to the neighbor and asked the neighbor for a knife so she could stab him. Um, so that's like how all that happened. And then DCF came because she
yeah.
said all of this to the cops.
I was about to
So
say, let's call Gypsy Rose on her ass.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So like it was what it was. And then like they were removed from my care for the first time. I didn't know that my oldest son had ADHD. So it was really bad when he was little. Like he didn't listen. He was very disrespectful. He did really bad things at school, really bad things at home. So he got kicked out of daycare. So he went to, kindergarten, but then his
mhm,
after school care, they were like, mm-mm, we don't want him here anymore. So like I didn't know what else to do. Like I had funding from, the county for him to go there. So like what am I gonna do? Their dad just so happened to get released. I was like, listen, watch the kids while I go to work because if I don't go to work, nobody's going to pay the bills,
of
right?
course.
So, like, when he started watching the kids, just so happened, DCF worker came to the house, seen him with the kids, and they removed them for the first time. Um, it was crazy between me and him right after that. Like, I blamed everything on him, my whole
Mhm,
life, all my drama, instead of taking responsibility that, I allowed that to happen. You learn that as you do a little step work. And so like, just things got worse. And then I dated someone else that put his hands on me. So like that final person had actually punched me in my eye, but he was the addict. My ex-husband was not an addict. He just was crazy normal. Didn't take drugs, didn't drink. He just was psycho. So, yeah, so my youngest son's father was an addict, and like that's how I got into like the heavier stuff because of him my kids were removed. Like that was it. Like I never got them back after that.
well, now that you, of course, your kids are back in your life. I mean, we work with one of them currently. Um, like you still actively are participating in a 12-step program. You go to meetings. Like how, for any parents that are possibly listening that have a young kid or 9 to 13 years old, how do you sit your child down and explain that to them?
um well, I have a 14-year-old, and like she used to always ask me like why do I go to meetings, and I told her because that way I could be a better mommy. And that's all I needed to say to her. She didn't ask me really anything else. Um, she understands what drugs are. She understands that I was out of her life for a while. And now I'm back and I'm a different person. So for me, like that's really all the explanation that I have to give her. Like as she gets older, if she really wants to know, like my son is 20. So like if he asks me a question, like I can be more
Honest. Well, I
open.
mean, he works in the industry now too, so he's
Well, yeah, but like we've also
yeah.
had those conversations, and like I explained to him, like I was homeless for 5 years. And whatever you think can happen to girls when that they're out there, like it happened to your mom. So like he understands. Um, he knows that I use needles. He knows that I smoked crack. But he doesn't judge me. He doesn't feel no type of way because he sees the woman that I am today. So I can tell you a story. But like if I'm not
Mhm.
still behaving that way, it's just a story. So
Of
you know
course.
what I mean? It's not like that's it'd be different if I'm telling you like yo, like I still shoot dope and I still smoke crack and I'm doing these unmanageable things and living crazy. Like I go to work, I go to meetings, I actually work 2 jobs, I go to the gym, you know what I mean? I take care of them and try to do the best I can. So for them it's like they more so watch my movements, not so much what I've told them.
Well, then it's also kind of hard to believe. I mean, as you said, your son's 20. You have 7, what, going on 8 years of clean time.
In April I
So
have
your son, I mean, knew you like as you were clean. As you said, none of them really saw you in addiction. So when you tell him these stories or if he questions it, it's probably hard to believe. Be like,
yeah,
wait,
he
that's
kind of
not the
looks at
mama
me
that I know.
sometimes like, yeah, but
So,
and I can joke about it too with him,
mhm,
because you're not in that other chat with us, and it was so funny because one of our coworkers was talking about, I love crack, and then someone else said something, and I was like, I bet you were fun when you got high, and she's like, no, I wasn't, and then my son was like, I want to try crack, and then somebody else like he goes, Mom, can I try crack? And I was like, well, you have insurance, so it's fine. And like we can joke about it, you know what I mean? Yes, it's a very serious thing,
of course.
but sometimes you can make light of it when you've already been through it. It's different.
I mean, I think you have to make light of it. If you read or talk like anybody in like comedy that are like professional comedy, and you ask them like, where do you get your comedy from? Like a lot of it's trauma based.
Hmm.
So the thing is, yes, addiction is very traumatic for most. That many of us went through some traumatic bullshit. So when we're now clean, we have to make joke of it and light of it and stuff like that. Because if we continue to focus on how dark it was, then we're never, I feel, never going to really truly move on to a better portion like of our life. So of course you're in a 12-step program. So tell me, like, what has been the most beneficial thing that you've pulled from the 12 steps or or the actual like encompassment of the program?
um for me, I learned a lot of integrity, and I learned acceptance. Those are like the two biggest things for me, because through my integrity I'm able to show up for work when I don't want to, say yes when I have to speak for someone, say yes when someone wants to record me on their podcast. Like those little things. If I owe somebody money, like I'll pay them back immediately as soon as I get paid, not be like, oh, maybe in like another paycheck. No, like off rip, like I
Mhm.
pay all my bills first. And like it's funny because like before my using, I was so unmanageable like that. Like me and the kids, like I would rob Peter to pay Paul and like not pay the light bill and pay some later, or not pay the rent man, or steal cable, or steal lights, or steal water. Like I was so unmanageable with my money. I would rather take the kids out to eat and spend like $200 there than like pay my bills. But like now I know, like as long as my bills are paid, and like my higher power is going to provide
Mhm.
whatever else I need no matter what. And like I always seem to have extra money until next pay period. You know what I mean? And like it's weird because I pay a lot of bills.
Oh my god, it's so sad when we think about how many bills that we have. So you said higher power. So the thing is, for many people listening, or even that are already in recovery, the higher power talk can be a huge turnoff or downside to getting recovery. So that's what turns a lot of people away from a 12-step program, is that higher power word, the God word. So for you, were you okay with it walking up in the doors, or like how did you overcome that obstacle?
Because I've already had my God of understanding since I was a kid. He has changed and evolved, not the same punishing one that like I grew up with, because I grew up Catholic. Um, but like now, like I do a lot of different things though. Like I'm very much into like how Buddhists are.
Hmm.
I do crystals and the moon and meditation. So like what I believe and what I, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like all of these things are all in the same, in all encompassing thing for me. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So like just different ways, and it's always about love and peace for me. Like that's like it. As long as it's loving, kind, um, then that's my higher power in a nutshell.
Well, you just, I didn't know you were in crystals. You should have been there for Secret Santa for my sponsorship family. But there's a store by my house called Lucky House that sells a little penis, rose quartz, and like three other types of crystals. They sell big ones too, but girl, them like $300. You can get like a small one for like 25 bucks. But anyways, you should come by my house. So
Where
of
yeah,
course,
you got to tell me when we're done where you live.
down the street.
Down the street, and we got to go get. Sorry, my phone's about to die. I'm like I can't even charge
You can't
headphones.
charge shit, girl. Your phone's, your iPad's dead, your AirPods are dead, everything's
I'm
dead.
living. Listen, life on the wild side.
And I'm one of those people that overcharge absolutely everything that I own. I'm like, phone's always plugged up, everything like that. But anyways, so
If I turn you sideways, is that okay?
yeah, it flipped. It looks like it
Okay.
flipped.
All right. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Just so you know, I am not editing this out, girl. I fucking hate editing for the life of me. Um, so we gonna talk about, well, while you get that together. So for me, higher power, like for me, is not a being. It's the encompassment of like the universe. I like am a really big firm believer in like the law of attraction, where you get what you get back what you put out into the universe. So like I always use and I've used this example in like one of my very first episodes. I use the example of like if you stub your toe in the morning and you're like, fuck, god damn it, da da da, like the rest of your day plays out like shit. Okay. But like that's because the moment you opened your eyes, you're already putting out that negative energy. But if you wake up, and that's why I think it's so important for people in recovery to start that day with their meditation, because they're starting their day in a positive note and they're putting good vibes out there. And so the most of the time, the rest of their day, yes, of course we always hit hiccups, but allowing that positive energy to go out when that hiccup does happen, they can overcome it a lot easier than otherwise. So talking about a good thing in recovery, so let's talk about the nitty gritty. So what is like a downside of being in recovery that may deter somebody away?
The bullshit talking about people. I fucking hate it.
Girl, you got to move your camera. I can barely see you, or you scoot back a little bit.
Oh, hold on. All right. Is that
So
better?
yeah, that's way good. So you mean the
Um,
gossip?
the gossip, the trash talk. I don't want you to talk about what I shared in the meeting, please. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll hear about other people's shares, and I kind of just be like, I'm glad I don't share that stuff there. Because, like, this is what I learned, and like, it's taken me some time. Like, don't share what you don't want people to know in the meeting. Period.
Of
Save that
course.
for your sponsor.
No, 100%. I think we addicts are dirty people sometimes.
A
We're
lot of
very,
it's because they want attention and they feel like they're being validated. If they're also having like me too, I'm included. I'm gonna share these things with you for you to like me. Maybe you'll, and then this is so funny because I love Renee Brown.
love her. Oh, wait. I don't know if I know that Renee.
Renee
I
Brown.
love the other
Wait,
Renee.
no, she does
Oh, the girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're
the
talking
lady that does like the motivational
about. Mm-hmm.
speeches and all things. So Brene Brown is what it is. Brene. Anyways, she was talking about how like if you want somebody to like you or whatever, like it's the way that you behave and the way that you act. And it was saying like if you are at work and somebody is constantly coming to you to give you all the gossip, um then that makes you feel like whatever you tell them they're telling other people, right? But for me, like, if I can repeat whatever I say, but sometimes like I won't, like, some things to me are like not things that I will share, and if it's already public knowledge, I will talk about it.
Yeah, I
um
mean, I'm guilty with the gossip sometimes, but I think it's like I don't want anybody listening. I don't want this to come across that we're just speaking negatively about recovery whatsoever. This is reality because guess what? Recovery or not recovery, there's going to be some gossip.
so yeah, with gossip, like, is there's gossip anywhere, but it's all about how you handle it. And like, there are defects, you know what I mean? Those are things that we go through, but like over time, like, you start to learn like when to hold your mouth, when to say something, when not to say something. And I don't know, like, I've gotten better with it. I feel like over the years, I'm like, you don't become like this perfect angel that does no wrong once you get, in the 12-step program and you
Well,
start doing some stuff.
the thing is for me, I've never shared anything somebody said in the room. It's
Never.
it's more about like if they be doing some stupid shit outside, like outside, I'll be like, "Girl, did you see that they did this? Like, what the fuck are they thinking?"
Well, I
Um,
mean, we'll talk about stuff that's like already public knowledge. Like,
mhm,
I've never brought to you, or you've never brought to me stuff that we really shouldn't be talking about.
mhm.
It's mostly like, did you see that Instagram story?
Exactly. So let's go more into a positive note. Okay. So of course, we both work in recovery.
Hmm.
So for anybody out there that um maybe getting clean for the first time and like that's their goal is to help somebody else suffering, like what is the like how do you make sure that your recovery job and your recovery self-improvement stays separate?
Um, well, mostly because it's one's giving me a paycheck, one's not. Well, for me, because I know like what my recovery is. My recovery is to help me become a better person. And a lot of the knowledge that I have from that, I might use at work, not necessarily like down to the T of like
Mhm.
step one, two, three, you know what I mean? But like a lot of the stuff that I know, I'll incorporate when I speak to someone, like, this, if I can do it, you can do it, type
Mhm.
thing, you know what I mean? Like, I've been there, I understand where you're going through. More so with the empathy piece, and like allow them to see that, like, they're not alone, and like they can get the help. But like when I leave, that's a whole other story. Like, I go to my meetings, I do my conventions, and I do all of that, and that's for me. And that's where I gain um my self improvement, or my
Yeah, your personal
you,
recovery.
yeah, my personal, yeah. But work is different. I leave a lot of stuff at work. Like, I can separate. Like, when I get mad at like supervisors or people on the phone or coworkers,
Or at me
I
next
can.
door.
Uh, I never get mad at you because you're my squishmallow. But like, if I get aggravated, like, I leave that there, because when I'm gone, like, none of that matters. Like,
Mhm.
I'm out. Like, I'm in my car, I'm jamming to music, I'm on my way to meet friends, or I'm going to the gym. So like, all of that I leave there. When I get to work, I put my work hat on, and when I leave, I take it off and leave it at work, because I learned, it's a hard thing to learn, but like, I learned that like you have to separate your job from home, because if you bring it home, you're going to just bring all that, because we get a lot of phone calls that are full of
Mhm.
energy,
Mhm.
whether it be sad energy or angry energy, like whatever it is. Like, I try to shake it off and go home, because I don't want to bring this
Bring it
heavy. It's
home.
heavy. A lot of the stuff that we talk about at work is super heavy.
I think the only blessing that I have found is yes, recover like what I do at work is very separate. Like I have to make sure that even though I'm dealing with recovery on a daily basis, that am still going to meetings and I'm still participating in my own recovery. But the huge upside, I would say, is I'm surrounded by addicts. I'm surrounded by people in recovery. I mean, hell, like there's you, there's Renee. I have Rachel, Steven. Like, and I the only reason I mention these four people is because they've been on the podcast, and Flav wants to come on the podcast. And the thing is, though, like some of y'all are actually also a part of my personal journey. So if I am going through something, it's just very nice to be able to turn around in my chair and be like, "Hey, y'all, like I'm going through some shit. Let's talk." So yes, I understand you don't want to bring your personal life into work, but guess what? Like your personal life rolls over into work a lot. So
Well,
it
yeah.
allows
I
you
mean, because
to open up.
we talk about things with our coworkers because we're with them all day. So like
Hmm.
we spend more time with them than we do our own families. So, I mean, I share all my stuff with Renee, but she's also my sponsee sister. So it's a little different. But like sometimes like I'll keep my mouth shut because I don't need everybody to know like what I got going on at home
Hmm.
because I don't need you like I've had that happen where I've been in a job where I shared my personal stuff and got fired because they felt like I was bringing too much personal stuff to work. So like I've learned like it's been experience. Like that's how we learn throughout our lives is experience. This worked for me, this didn't work for me. So then from now on I'm going to take this route. You know what I mean? So for me it's
Yeah.
like
I
you
mean,
got
let
to
me tell
learn.
you, my personal shit's all up in work because I have so one coworker's fully read the book because she helped edit it. I have like four coworkers that have purchased the book and have started reading it. So like my coworkers probably know a little too much. But you know what? At the end of the day, it is what it is. I put the book out there. So, anyways, um, so what have you gained? Like let's end this on a positive note. What is one thing that you've gained in recovery that you feel has stopped you from going back out because you would lose it if you went back out?
My sanity.
Bitch, we are not sane.
No. Um for me is my peace. Um, I don't have a chaotic home anymore. My kids are it's not really chaos. Like it's like a good chaos with them. Um, but for me, I'm not sleeping next to someone that's putting their hands on me. I'm not screaming and yelling every day. I'm not worried about when my next hit's gonna come from. I'm not worried about if I close my eyes, is this person gonna, do something to me while I'm sleeping. I can lay my head on my pillow and know that I haven't hurt anybody. I'm not gonna hurt anybody. Nobody's gonna hurt me. And I can have a good night's sleep in peace. And like that's the most important thing. Like this is my home, my shit, all my clothes, good, bad, and ugly, shoes everywhere. I'm not gonna show the room. And but like it's mine. And like when you're using, you don't have anything that belongs to you except
Hmm.
for and not even the drugs. You know what I mean? Like at some point you lose everything, yourself, everything. And like I've gained a lot of things. I have my own place. I have a car. I work two jobs. Once again, I'm able to do things. You know what I mean? And like I didn't have that when I was homeless, sleeping
Yeah.
behind bushes and you
I
know.
should have. I'm about to have two jobs, girl. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to record this podcast. I'm just waiting on. I've already done the intake paperwork. I'm just waiting for them to call me. But yes, sanity or not insanity. I'm sorry, not sanity. Peace. I always told people my first time I've ever experienced peace and serenity was like 2 months after I moved to Florida. Me and my roommates went to the beach. We went to Dania Beach, Dania, whatever. And they went out in the
Tomato,
water.
tomato.
There's like nobody else. And I just laid my fat ass on the beach like a beach whale. And I was just listening to the ocean. And I was like, I could take a breath and not have to worry about where my bill money is going to come from. What am I going to do? What is this? What the stress? I mean, I had just moved to Florida, like, and made the decision in a high, like a week before moving. So I mean, and now we're over a year in. We blessed. We moving on up. We doing the damn thing. Anyways, so it's been, but yeah, that's like the feeling of peace and comfort and serenity. I feel is something that once you have it, you don't ever want to fucking let it go. You don't want
Nope.
to let it go because
Mm-mm.
trust me, you gonna like once you let it go, you gonna keep chasing it like you fucking chase that first high.
Like we have things that we go through, but it's still a peaceful. Like our spirits are not like
Mm-hmm.
you're still calm. Like you might freak out for a second and be like, all right, let me hit that pause button. Step 2. And let me allow whoever, whatever being, whatever, to take over. And like you kind of just are chill because I know like when I was using, there was no chilling me. I had to go, figure it out because I can't get dope sick and blah blah. You know what I mean? And like now, okay, I'll pay that bill
Yeah,
when my check hits. I'm not gonna freak out. I'll
exactly.
just pick up another shift at the restaurant if I need a couple of extra dollars. You know
Or
what I
just go
mean?
shake it.
Or I won't max out my card this month and I can use it again.
Oh my god, I just paid off my credit card. So I have 2 credit cards now with a 0 balance until next month. Because I'm going to Texas for the wedding. So anyways, so before we end the episode, is there anything that you would like to share with everybody that you haven't had the opportunity to?
Um, no, like if you're hearing this for the first time and you're new, like stay, it gets better. Um, don't be scared to reach out to whoever. People are dying left and right, and it's sad, and we don't want that to keep happening. Um, and live every day like it's your last. Have a great day and blast it away. Like not like that though, but like just have a good time. Like that's the whole point. Like to live and not just survive anymore.
I mean, don't do drugs, but most of fucking importantly, stop doing fentanyl. Okay?
Can't even enjoy the high. You're dead.
I know. That's so sad because we have recently lost a few people from that shit.
A lot. A
Yeah.
lot.
I've known, God, I think like 7 that I've known in the last like 4 or 5 months.
Well,
It's
I've been
nuts.
around a little bit longer,
You
so
sure have.
I've lost at least over 20 to 30 people in the almost 8 years. And at least 3 of them were really close to my heart. So it's rough. It's rough
Yeah.
out in these streets.
In these streets. But anyway, but yeah, like she said, don't hesitate to reach out. The thing is, our email's open, our inbox is open. Like, there's so many guests here that have shared their stories, shared their social media, their websites, everything like that. So I mean, there's just search hashtag sober. We do recover on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere, and anybody would be more than happy to talk to you through whatever you're going through. So thank you, Boo Kitty, for coming and joining us today.
Squishmallow baby.
Thank you again for listening to today's episode. Hit that follow button to be notified about new episodes every week. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on Instagram at The Sober Unicorn Podcast or on our website at thesoberunicornpodcast.com. There you will find our episodes as well as our very own sober-owned shop featuring products from small businesses that are sober-owned. And remember everyone, don't be normal, be a unicorn, but better yet, be a sober unicorn.